Welcome to the Pink Pill RX podcast, hosted by Katie and Jay Fillmore, where we navigate complex and thought-provoking topics surrounding women with a focus on education. For shorter form content, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at Caters88 or Pink Pill RX.
That's KATORS88.
If you enjoy this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.
Welcome back to another episode. You know what I realized is that a couple episodes ago, we were supposed to do a part 2 to alternative timelines.
Oh, yeah, we were.
And we never did that. And part of the reason why I never did that is because it's just depressing, guys.
Yeah.
And there's so much depressing stuff out there that I just felt like it was too depressing to do one after another. So I think we'll eventually do that second part, but we're not going to do it consecutively.
Yeah. So does that mean that you have something prepared that is not as heavy?
I do for today. Well, I think it's not as heavy. These are like commonly asked questions or inquiries that we get via email or comments or like messaging on different platforms and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, we're just going to do like a Q&A episode.
Oh, that sounds great.
So I kind of divided these into genres. We've got personal and behind the scenes, listener relatability, like listener questions about their own stuff.
Oh, okay.
Cultural and societal commentary.
Oh, that's fun.
Faith and deconstruction.
Even more fun.
And practical and everyday life.
Cool.
How does Jay stay unoffended by the topics that we discuss?
Okay, I guess it's not quite softball, but that's okay.
Yeah. How does it not offend you that we're talking so spiritedly often about men?
I don't know. Why do I walk the way I do? Like, I don't know. I just do. Let me ask you this, Katie. Do you think a couple years ago would have got offended?
I think because of how we embarked on this journey where it was very heavy, like statistics and research.
Yes.
That
you're right.
When we have bled more into cultural commentary or opinions and things like that, it's been easier for you to swallow because you know that there's a lot of data that backs
That's
stuff
a good
up.
point. I think because I trust you, and I think because there is a lot of data. Like I always like verifiable proof. You know, my first degree was in mathematics, and I like things that are, well documented, and that helps me. Well, this is just what reality is, and I need to reorient myself around what reality actually is.
Have you ever been like offended that you can think about?
No, but like I used to, prior to the past couple of years, I think when you would use, and I said this on the podcast before, when you would say the word patriarchy, I'm like, oh, okay, so you're saying I'm doing this, I'm actively doing this, versus, oh no, this is a problem that I benefit from. Doesn't mean that I'm actively perpetuating it by doing some of these practices, but my silence also perpetuates it, type thing. Like, and I'm also a victim of it myself as a man. So like that makes more sense to me. But the word patriarchy, I used to be like, okay, what?
And that is by design. Like there is so much propaganda behind the word patriarchy and feminism on purpose to make you respond that way, to prevent progress.
That makes sense. I also used to always, like, I wouldn't want to say not all men, but I want to say, like, I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how are you stereotyping me with everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
I would have those feelings.
How did you get over those feelings?
I think the statistics really showed me the magnitude, like on a wide scale.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like, oh, this has been here the whole time. I just didn't realize this was a part of women's lives and a part of the world this whole time. This is everywhere. This is massive. So then when I'm confronted with things, I'm like, yep, well, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Versus not me.
Right.
Now I just think, well, that stuff is that's everywhere, man.
So it would make sense how you would get grouped in.
Yeah. because it's everywhere.
Yeah. What is the hardest episode you've ever done, like emotionally?
Oh, I'm going to have to think about that for a minute. We've done 50 of them.
I think for me, gosh, there's a lot. Anything that has to do with sexual assault is really difficult. I think the most shocking one, though, that was like, what? Was the transplantation episode.
Like organ transplants?
Yeah, where we were
That was
talking about
nuts.
not just the gender, but the race disparities. I just got chills talking about it. Like, that was really mind-blowing to me because I was so unaware of that.
Yeah. Mine was, I think it was episode 13. Or it was the unconsenting, uncovered, and unbelievable. We're talking about girls getting married off before they're 18 and then getting trapped.
Yes.
I think that was the hardest one for me.
Yeah. Do your kids ever overhear your conversations for the podcast? And how do you navigate that with them?
Our youngest two don't, because we typically record either after they're in bed for the night or during like their nap time, quiet time in the afternoon. Our older ones, well,
They know.
they know. I think they're also very sensitive to, oh my gosh, they're recording. I better go back upstairs.
Yeah.
Because any little thing gets picked up on the microphones. We don't have like a studio set up, but I think our second oldest has heard more than anybody else.
Yeah. And she really wants to be on the podcast and she wants to talk about women's rights and about how upset she is that there's not a female president right now. We will sometimes in the car have very long-winded conversations prompted by her, about these kind of topics. And because it shows even like, in childhood, about, boys being stronger than girls and boys being faster than girls and, these things that even come out just like on the playground and stuff and just navigating that with them. And then also the cattiness that comes with girl on girl stuff, which is also patriarchal, discussing that with them and about how we live in a world that's designed to pit women against women or girls against girls and how that steals power from each other. And we live in a world where girls don't get a lot of power, so we don't want to be stealing it from each other.
Yeah. Well said.
How do you protect your marriage and mental health when your work is so centered on heavy topics that involve trauma and the patriarchy, etc.?
I think we space out recording enough.
We space it out, and I think that we have a lot of positive interactions in comparison to negative ones.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time together, and and we talk about all kinds of things. This is not the only thing we talk about. So, like, we talk a lot about theology. We talk a lot about politics, a lot about health and mental health. And so I think that because this isn't the only serious topic we talk about often, it's a bit balanced.
Yeah. And, I would love to expand and talk about more of that stuff on the podcast. I feel like I have kind of pigeonholed ourselves into this feminist only sphere. And I think there's a lot of things that are feminist adjacent that we could probably talk about that we don't. And I think that's something we should explore.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I would love to.
Has there been anything that you've changed your mind about since starting our podcast, but I would say this journey?
I'm sure there has. I don't know if anything's going to come to mind.
For me, I would like before we started this, which was been about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Year and a half ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew that women weren't equal, and I knew that there was a lot of like systemic racism out there and stuff like that. I did not know, though, And I still don't know, I guarantee you, the extent of any of that. But like now it's like, this is way, way, way deeper and worse and tragic than I had any idea about. So I haven't like changed my mind about it, but it has deepened my understanding and there's no going back.
I agree with that. I identify with that too. Because there's not a specific like opinion that I've held that now this opinion on this certain thing has been changed. But I think my overall view of the world has.
Yeah, significantly for me. And I think that bleeds into like how I view raising girls too.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, on to some other questions. This is more about like listener questions and like relatability and stuff. How do I bring up these conversations with my husband without it turning into a fight?
I think data is helpful. It was helpful for me. Like facts. Hey, these are just the stats. These are just the facts. What's your opinion about it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that? And then, he's going to be like, well, where does that, there's some type of rebuttal or like, where's that stat coming out of? Or is that really true? Well, I mean, here's the data on it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm a little more like mischievous than that.
I just think data is a helpful
Yeah,
tool.
I think my initial thing is like just assuming that you're on the same page because like who wouldn't want equal rights for all genders? Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? You're not a feminist.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Like what? That isn't shouldn't everybody is a feminist, right? like do you know what I'm saying? Of like, or this curiosity of like, why don't you believe that? That's an interesting thing not to believe.
That's good.
Or that's an interesting way to think about that. Can you unpack that for me a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Or what data do you have to support what you're saying too?
Oh, because then he'll be like, well, I don't, but I can get some. But then will he ever actually revisit the conversation? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That might not be the best advice because I don't have a husband that fights with me about it. But I do think that curiosity goes a long way and just kind of being like, what?
Yeah, something that doesn't stir up the guy's like fight response.
Yeah.
Like I want to dig in about it. I'm digging in my heels. But something that involves curiosity instead. Like, did you ever think about...
Yeah.
Did you know that? Or what do you think about the fact that...
Or I can't believe that...
Yeah, do you want to just learn?
Yeah. Did you know? Da-da-da.
Yeah.
Not saying that's not going to turn into a fight.
Yeah.
But
it's a better opener, I feel like.
Yes. What do you do when your partner says they're supportive but still doesn't take on their share of the mental load? I think my first question would be like, do they realize what mental load is? And do they realize what supportive means?
Do they realize these hidden... The mental load is often hidden. So do they realize all these things are there? And just not... Like, you're not doing them, I have to do these things? So did you take a mental load inventory? Like, I don't know. I mean, just... Like, for example, what I'm thinking of is... mental load of, do we have all the medications we need in case a kid gets sick? Oh, do we have enough Band-Aids in case someone gets hurt? Oh, do all the kids are they getting all the nutrition they need? Or like the things that like you have thought more about than I have. And to be made aware of the mental load of tracking those things. Like when you and I traded jobs, home jobs, domestic jobs for a while, and I had to do I was doing all the grocery shopping, and I was like, no problem. But then the sheer amount of things to balance. Yeah, toilet paper, paper towels. Alone. And then we have diaper wipes and we have some pull-ups and stuff. But then you got like vitamins. Who needs toothpaste? Who's out of shampoo?
Yeah.
There's just so much stuff that I was just not even aware. Like, oh my God, you're right. I just thought I was ordering groceries.
Yeah. Yeah, because didn't I ask you? I feel like what was the question I asked you? It was related to that, and it was about how what in our house is in our house that I've not been the one to bring in.
Right.
I'm not talking about furniture. I'm talking about just like the stuff
Because I brought that in.
that we have. If
Yeah.
you were to go around from space to space and look in a room.
Yeah. Well, you picked out these mics. You bought me that phone charger over there. That heated blanket's because of you, because you told my mom about it for Christmas. You picked out those curtains. Blinds came with the house. Everything over on that dresser. Period.
Yeah.
Did not come from me.
Yeah. So it's interesting to like do an inventory.
Huh. I got that bookshelf and all its furniture.
Yeah, I mean, okay, fine. You could talk about furniture
There's
too, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was like this realization that you had though of like, oh, wow, because I said anything that, we didn't buy as a couple didn't count.
Right.
And anything that you brought like prior to us like getting married, so like from your own original house,
Yeah.
like didn't count.
Yeah. And the amount of stuff in this house that had you as its source instead of me, it was like a 90-10 ratio.
Yeah.
Maybe 85-15. It was pretty drastic.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, what is the awareness level of the mental of all the hidden mental load items?
And then ironically, it's a mental load on you to have to educate on the mental load.
That's true.
So it's a catch-22.
Yeah. Part of me is a little vindictive is not the right word, but it's the right spirit. Be like, all right, fine. You know what? I'm going to stop doing mental load stuff. Let's see when you notice. Let's just see when you notice when you don't have deodorant. Let's just see if you notice when you've run out of X, Y, or Z. Let's just see if you notice when the kids don't have, or do or don't do this. Let's just wait till you find out.
Yeah.
Then you'll be interested in
Your
having a
facetious side.
Yeah.
Facetious.
I'm not saying do that. That's not advice. But that's just, I have no idea what your situation is like or what your relationship dynamic is like. I just have no idea. What I do know is I was not aware of much of what your mental load was for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. And so some research on that on his end would be beneficial. What is the difference between preference and patriarchy when it comes to gender roles? I think that preference is just that this is my personal preference. My personal preference is that I enjoy doing X, Y, and Z versus patriarchy is saying you have to do X, Y, and Z because you're a woman, not because you enjoy it.
Yeah. I feel like the difference between preference and patriarchy is agreement. That you agree on these terms together without coercion. Like, here's things that I prefer to do and not do. Here are things that you prefer to do or not do. And there's going to be a Venn diagram. We both like to do these things. Well, let's share them.
We did that, like literally. We wrote
literally
down
did.
all the stuff that has to be done all the time.
Yes.
And then we said, what are your icks? Because maybe your ick, I don't mind as much.
Yeah.
And so we exchanged icks. There were certain things that I didn't mind doing as much as you disliked and vice versa.
Yes. Yep. And then the stuff that neither of us wanted to do, we just kind of split it up or rotated.
Yeah. Okay, cultural and social commentary. What's the most dangerous myth about women's bodies that you wish would just die already?
I like the way that's phrased.
There's so many.
Well, I'm just thinking of a sex-related one.
Okay, what?
The vast majority of women, the majority of orgasms are not from penetration only.
Yes.
That's not a thing.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my mind immediately went to that the cervix has no nerve endings.
I remember talking about that in an episode about something that was,
Yeah, I think that was the first thing that popped in my mind. I'm not saying that's the most important thing, but that was the first thing that popped in my mind when I read that question.
because that's when you get IUDs and stuff with no painkillers.
Yes, with that
and no.
tenaculum, with the
I remember.
the little sharp tenaculum
Yeah.
where they just pinch it. Okay. Well, pinching it involves a sharp object.
I think what needs to die is the idea of like innateness. Like there's some things that just women innately are like wired to do versus how much is like is constructed in you with your upbringing
Conditioning.
and the messaging that you get.
Yes. Yeah, I also think about the mental health stuff with women and how everything's like pinned on mental health, and I wish that would just go away.
Yeah, or anxiety.
Yep.
Or it's pinned on anxiety when it could be ADHD. It could be, it's like a different neurotype or a different mental health situation.
Yes.
But everything's anxiety. Well, maybe you're anxious because you're not getting help.
Yeah. How do you balance calling men out while leaving space for them to grow?
I think that it involves blame. You can call someone to be better by making them aware of something they're doing that's harmful without giving them the like feelings of blame. That like, oh, patriarchy is like patriarchy is your fault. And if the guy does it, somehow it's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
But more neutral as in like, hey, these are some things that are real, that are not good. I notice you are doing some of these said things that are not good. Here's why not good. Here's better. I don't know. It's probably a better question for you than for me.
No, and I think that I'm not saying that is. I think that's a good answer. I look at that question and I think to myself, neither of those things are technically your responsibility.
Oh, that's good.
So calling men out isn't technically your responsibility. If you choose to take up that emotional labor, then kudos to you. And making space for them to grow, that should also be their own responsibility. But if that's space that you want to cultivate, again, kudos to you. And I think the balance is there, like you were saying, between blame and awareness. I think that approaching it with an awareness model versus that blame model, yes, is a good way to go about it. Faith and deconstruction. How do you reconcile being feminist and also a Christian?
Because Jesus was a feminist.
Yep.
And we can unpack that crap out of that. It's just he was so good. And so in lifting everyone up.
I think I struggle not with Jesus's teaching. I think I do struggle with the epistles, which have a lot of cultural context that's missing.
Oh, a lot.
And also Old Testament stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how to deal with that yet.
Yeah. So I think that there's growth that is still happening and deconstruction that is still happening in those areas. But I don't, at least the Jesus I believe in was a raging feminist. And I'm not doing something that's like, those two things in my mind can exist, being a Christian and also being feminist.
Yeah. There's like 2 billion Christians in the world or something like that. And I think if we were to really boil down the definition of Christian, the number of Christians in the world would not be anywhere close to 2 billion.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of starting with the definition and then saying, oh, okay, well then who is defined by this? Instead we say, oh, these are all the people who call themselves this. And then we extrapolate the definition from that. We take 2 billion something people, extrapolate what a Christian means from them versus starting with the definition itself and then saying, are all these 2 billion people actually a Christian, actually described by this thing? And I would think the answer would be, I know the answer would be no.
Yeah.
And I think what allows me to balance being a, by definition, Christian and a feminist is that even the Old Testament stuff that I don't get, everything that I have learned more certainly through education and learning of culture and language and things like that, And the more I see through that lens and see goodness, the more I can be like, okay, I'll put a pin in some of these things I don't get yet because I didn't get some things in the New Testament earlier in my life that I do get now. So I just need to maybe give it some more time.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. It's a continually revealing and unraveling.
It's a continuing apocalypse. That's what apocalypse means. A revealing, not the end of the world or something. It means literally like the revelation of in the Bible is really like the apocalypse.
So I can say I'm currently going through an apocalypse and be accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
Feeling a little apocalyptic today.
deconstruction could, for some people, could possibly call it, I'm in the midst of an apocalypse.
Yeah. Yes.
Very long, drawn out apocalypse.
What do you say to family members who still believe traditional gender roles are God's design?
Nothing. I'm not going to convince them. They know what I think.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't.
We just don't talk about it because...
We literally don't talk about it.
I'm not going to convince you. You're not going to convince me. So what are we just going to argue when we know it's just going to be... That's all it's going to be is an argument with no progress in any direction?
Yeah.
We both know what each other thinks. Let's just go eat.
We both know what would you say?
We both know what each other thinks. Let's just go eat.
Yes. Yeah.
Like at Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that it depends how, extreme and destructive the other person might be.
Yeah, luckily we don't
have that.
So,
but yeah, even if we do have family members that believe more traditional things, it's for their own selves.
Yes.
And their own little families, and they're not, evangelizing it per se.
Yes, and neither do I. I'm just living my life and speaking out against the things that I feel I need to speak out against.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you've lost community because of your beliefs?
Yeah, several different time periods in my life. Absolutely. Yeah, like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not always when I'm in the right either. Sometimes when I'm in the wrong.
Unpack that a little bit.
Like, sometimes, like in my early 20s, I was a part of a very unhealthy, you could call it denomination. And there was a lot of cult-like things in it, and it was very fundamental. And, believing some certain things and trying to proselytize others into believing those things drove a lot of wedges. And I was, in hindsight, I was in the wrong, but I thought I was right at the time.
Yeah, and you lost community over it.
Yeah, and then sometimes it's just, maybe I'm growing in a direction you're not growing in. And that's painful and that stinks because I value our friendship, but it's like naturally we have a bit less to talk about. Because the things that deeply matter to me and things that deeply matter to you are either different things or the same things, but we're on different sides of the coin. And so the ease of conversation is not what it was.
Yeah, I do feel like I've lost community based off beliefs. Like, I feel like my feminist beliefs and like, since we've started doing this stuff, I feel like I've lost like an element of community. I feel like I've lost community like in the deconstruction space. And I feel like I've lost community like because I've done a lot of growth like via therapy and stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And so there's been a loss of community there. There's a lot of grief around growth, and that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more questions and we'll be done. This is just practical everyday life kind of advice.
I just put my pants on one leg at a time.
Is that all you do?
No.
Do you even do?
I have a whole routine.
Yeah. So what do you actually say when a man interrupts you mid-sentence? Excuse me, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
Yeah.
I do think Kamala Harris did us right when she said, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking, because she also added onto there, if you don't mind letting me finish, we can both have a conversation, okay?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
She handled that really well.
It was beautiful. Debate. And I think that that's a great way to say, excuse me, I was speaking. If you don't mind me letting me finish, we can both have a conversation. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, she straight up like parented that.
Calling it out, man. Just
Yeah.
saying, excuse me, I was speaking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not in your head. You are being interrupted. So
Yeah, I've seen that play out plenty, in the workplace, in churches.
in the workplace, men are twice as likely to interrupt as women are to interrupt. There are other studies that it's consistent that men interrupt women far more than women interrupt.
Oh, yeah. Well, and men interrupt men more than women interrupt men.
Yeah.
I mean, really, both genders here get interrupted by men.
Yes.
Me too. I get interrupted by men more than I do by women.
Well, it's kind of like that thing about violence. Both genders here get, like, violence-wise, statistically, it's going to be a man.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt you or me.
Right.
Statistically.
Yeah. Statistically.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got for us, babe.
I like doing the questions. That was nice and thought. I had to really think about some things.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, and we will see you next time.
Thank you. Bye. I hope for those of you listening, something was intriguing or sparked a curiosity, or you felt affirmed or challenged. Stay educated. Take the pink pill. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.